Welcome to your magic moon message. This is the peace dealer, and I hope you're getting the utmost of quality from this report. And magic moon message. Moon is in Capricorn, sun is in Virgo. We are integrating these new behavioral patterns, and the moon in Capricorn is helping us understand the utilization of it. As you continue to gain experience through, I don't want to say pressure, but through friction, right? The sixth house and Virgo is tied to consistency, commitment, daily practice, which brings up resistance. And in integrating effort through that resistance, the consistency enables you to master techniques, habits, and to push forward. So, with the Saturn opposition, as we get closer to Libra, a major facet of this are in a world where you do have like minds and you do have resonant frequencies. You have those who will hide behind their beliefs, hide behind their biases and prejudices to justify any negativity projected at you, any kind of issue. I have a lot of people hide behind rhetoric. These same people will project negativity but still watch you religiously if in effort to see anything that feeds their confirmation bias. So of course you want to value the friction and resistance the experience brings, while not allowing those miserable to bring you down to their misery, and to push forward. Because at this stage, all they have are names to call you, ad hominems, red herrings. They're legitimately miserable. And the reason why I want to talk about outside influences are these are the themes we're going to see with squares, like to Uranus, to the sun, oppositions like Saturn and Neptune to the sun, which will speak on orientation towards things outside or, influencing your environment. Not that these planets influence you in that sense, but they can map out, of course, how you can navigate these potential challenges and pitfalls. And all of this really is whether to demoralize you or get you trapped in guilt or shame, just to have you stop doing what you're already doing consistently, which is their subconscious way of identifying what you're breaking into as a threat, as elevating yourself to a position that no longer gives them the leverage to manipulate a low self-esteem. I'm going to keep saying this, but just wherewithal where you are revealing those, whether they're aware of it or not, who their real gripe with you is that you will not let them manipulate you. You will not let them mold their belief systems for you to fit in, because you recognize that you don't belong there. You recognize that what you are isn't something that fits in a box of limited understanding. So yeah, allow people to continue to hurl and really just express their failures as they project that on you. And this opens up more room for an increasing amount of people who do see you, who do recognize you, who do, align with what you're doing, especially when it comes to certain quirks. I had to say that right. Quirks in your habits, eccentricities that might run contrary to what is seen as normal, how you're supposed to behave at it during your age, which is all hogwash. This is all nonsense. These are expectations that change relative to who's the dominant voice in societies. And I'm not necessarily going to say that one is better than the other. They're all trash. We just have a way of overstating our importance relative to the hallucination and dream we live. We all have a way of, recency bias, claiming that what we live and experience is more important than other people. But everyone breathes, sleeps, shits, and dies. That's an immutable fact. If nobody breathes air, they will die. That's an immutable fact. All these other cultures, customs, outside of the food, that's the only real thing about it. Everything is really subjective. Everything is really relative towards, what is as is perceptual, mutable signs will show, the current perception and how it constantly adjusts, especially in a period where we're phasing out 30, 165, 85, 248 year cycles with Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn. Okay. So you will continue to see those who have, aligned themselves with a dying world. And this is going to, of course, also kind of push you forward relative to those of you who are here to build and create this new world. Okay. I'm saying this especially as the moon will go into Aquarius to really account for the collective unconscious influence relative to what and how you navigate and maneuver through this, as the moon going into Capricorn is now applying the inner vision and the hidden meaning of the moon's transit through Sagittarius, which helped you really align this higher meaningful understanding towards how it is you are integrating in your life. Every time I kind of work out, I always strain my lower right back muscle. It's not really like a back issue as far as just on the lower right back. This is consistent now. And it kind of fucking sucks, but it didn't really stop me from running this morning and kind of at least doing the little I could do. It's not really that different from what I did yesterday. So I'm just gonna keep the consistency up just so I can make the most of this Virgo season. And now that we have kind of begun to break through the ground, the vision of how we want our lifestyle to look and how we want our behavior to look, now the moon in Capricorn helps you understand utilization of this. It now grounds this critical perspective that allows you to apply this vision towards the direction that will help you understand the greatness of what you are once again forming. And it's very important you understand this is your life. These are your habits. These are your patterns. Many of you will be selling yourself short if you're too focused on living a life that makes sense to other people. Especially with Uranus in Gemini, there is a unique, individual, eccentric facet of innovating mindsets Jupiter has expanded that you are being tasked to incorporate in your lifestyle, which makes it different from other people. And for those of you who really own this, it's gonna look fucking weird. There are gonna be facets of your day-to-day routine that people will never really accept or wrap their mind around. And the extent with which you're compromising to other people's wishes, which take away from who and what you truly are, is why you will fail this transit, because you're missing the point of it entirely. With the South Node in Virgo, so if the North Node was in Virgo, we might want to compromise to what socially we expect in order for us to move forward. The North Node is in Pisces. Any of these social expectations that get in the way of private, personal beliefs that you are aligning with integrity will sell you short if, in an effort to look good or to appeal to the right people, you really forsake all of that because you're scared. You know what I mean? When you're really dealing with those who are scared with how unconventional what you integrate goes outside of the bounds of what they consider normal. The last thing you want to really be is normal in a period where what we consider normal is changing in front of your eyes. What was normal in the 60s is not what was normal in the 80s, is not what's normal in the 2020s or the 2000s. Okay, but especially now, I don't want to call it a new normal, maybe a new nervous, shout out to the cuz. But yeah, with the moon in Capricorn, it's opposing Jupiter in Cancer, which is beginning to 180-degree harvest the activation of a deeper soul understanding as we expand our emotional and psychic channels. So the moon is now applying this utilization to also integrate how much more you can now organize this extra pool of, intuitive insight, deeper feelings. And as the moon, of course, initially quincunxed Uranus, and squared Neptune and lightly, Saturn. This is revisiting this integrity and a reimagination of character. And as this prepares for the moon in Aquarius, that will begin to tie in a higher, advanced, knowledgeable way to understand at this advanced way how to tie all this together. You will feel movement. You will feel, of course, you carrying this forth. Now, once again, I highly recommend you adopt at least one or two habits or mindsets that are disruptive, that maybe will not be accepted socially. And only if that comes authentic to you, because this may be an outlet through which it can express itself versus letting it be suppressed because other people think it's fucking weird. When those people are stupid as fuck, stupid little bitches, and cannot really base that reasoning on anything real. These people will never give you an answer. So to the extent with which you will put that down, in order to appease people, cannot give you a real answer that's not based on their beliefs, their traditions, their values, like something actually real, like the fact that if you hold your breath long enough, you'll die, right? Because that's actually real. Like your body actually needs oxygen. Whether or not I wear a scarf to a certain function, it might, ostracize me from a community, but it's not really real. It's only real in like a social construct sense. And that's what, as we are adjusting our habitual patterns, you want to make sure you really weed yourself. Some people can't do this because they depend on acceptance from others. They have external locuses of control. And so without that support, they don't really feel like themselves. But those with internal locuses of control are really the ones that are going to decide and rule moving forward, the ones that actually really influence, of course, what really sticks, what really stays. And I think the last thing I'll say is, I think with Mercury, that should be in Virgo by now, and if not, it's at the end of Libra, is applying now more crunch time with your brain to analyze everything your conscious has been, aware of relative to how you are integrating these new habits and patterns, which are totally tied to the activation and integration of supernatural techniques with which in Libra season you will begin to present mastered and polished. So, of course, stay consistent with what you're working on day to day. Understand that the negativity projected towards others is a hatred of themselves that they are using you as an outlet for. And people will rack reasoning and rhetoric in order to justify that, but their inability to actually ground that in anything real or give you a real answer is why they are a weak and stupid little bitch. You can, of course, be threatened with all sorts of coercion, but of course, the force that works within you puts anything they're trying to really leverage to shame, and you don't want to give that power away because of fear of what some weak little bitch might do. You guys stay blessed as always. The moon in Capricorn is going to give you a real grounded, practical, tangible understanding of how to control and utilize these new techniques you've activated through the new moon, and do not allow conditioning, psychological or otherwise, to condition you out of the authenticity of how it is you are forming these habits outside of the conventional expectation of what having a life is supposed to be and how you're supposed to behave given a certain age. None of that shit matters if that's not truly you, if that's not how you have already demonstrated is based on reality and who you really are. Other people can literally suck your big fat energetic cock, and if they have any problems with it, slap them in the face with it. All right, energetically, of course, you stay blessed as always as you come into this sense of consistency and now grounded practicality, where you will actually really experience you utilizing these techniques in different day-to-day situations. Then the moon in Aquarius will begin to awaken very extremely this higher supernatural, knowledgeable understanding, giving you really extending the visual moon in Sag higher perspective so that you can come into a unique way to wrap all this together before now we break through beliefs that now align with these habits and step into this full moon eclipse. Peace.